good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to our English class. Today, we're going to explore something poetic yet grammatical. It's like how adjectives can create comparison and emotion in poetry. Hmm. Have you ever compared two things in your life? Like saying, today is brighter than yesterday. That is what we call a degree of comparison. Alright, now look at this picture. If you can see, how would you describe it? Is it dark? Is it quiet? Or bright? Great! Let's write your words in the board. Like I said before, maybe dark, maybe quiet, maybe calm, or maybe bright. Alright, guys, now by the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify the degree of comparison structures and create simple sentence using comparative positive degree. Okay, this poem, In a Boat, was written by D.H. Lawrence. Lawrence often explores nature, emotion, and human experience. In this poem, he used comparative language to create striking imagery between the stars and their reflections in the water. Okay, everyone, please pay attention and listen the poem In a Boat by D.H. Lawrence together. Ready? Let's start now.
In a Boat by David Herbert Lawrence. See the stars, love, in the water much clearer and brighter than those above us, and whiter, like nenuphars. Star shadows shine, love. How many stars in your bowl? How many shadows in your soul? Only mine, love, mine. When I move the oars, love, see how the stars are tossed, distorted, the brightest lost. So that bright one of yours, love. The poor waters spill the stars, waters broken, forsaken. The heavens are not shaken, you say, love. Its stars stand still. There did you see that spark fly up at us? Even stars are not safe in heaven. What of yours, then, love? Yours? What then, love, if soon your light be tossed over a wave? Will you count the darkness a grave, and swoon, love, swoon?
Okay guys, after we see the video, so what the poem describe about actually? Alright guys, so this poem describes an intimate conversation between two people rowing about at night. The stars reflected in the water become a metaphor for their feelings and of course, their relationship. So this poem first published in the collection Rhyming Poems in the early 90s. So it's kind of old, but not that old actually. So yeah, this keep imagery in mind as we look at how the poet used comparison to make the scene more beautiful. After we know what this poem describes about, so let's find what is degree comparison actually. So degree of comparison refers to the forms of adjectives and adverbs that show how much of a quality something has. So we use degree of comparison to say whether two things are the same, whether one has more of a quality, or even which one has the most among several. So that's the simple what is degree of comparison about. Okay guys, after we know what is degree of comparison actually, we go to the first degree of comparison. The first degree of comparison is the positive degree. What is the positive degree actually? The positive degree expresses a quality in its simplest form, without any comparison in there. For example, the night is quiet. Here, we are only describing the night. We are not comparing it to anything else. So, that is the positive degree. After we know what is the first degree, is that the positive degree, we go to the second degree. It's about the comparative degree. The comparative degree shows that one thing has more or less of a quality than another. We usually add er to short adjectives or use more or less with longer ones. For example, in the poem, in the first stanza, in the water much clearer and brighter than those above us and wider. So that is comparative degree. In another example, the night is quieter than the day. Notice the word than, right? It's signal that we are comparing two things. So that is comparative degree. Alright guys, so we in the last degree of comparison. It is the superlative degree. The superlative degree shows the most or least of a quality within a group of three or more. We use ESTs or the most or the least. For example, in the poem, in the third stanza, the brightest lasts. For another example, this is the quietest night of the week. Here, we're saying this night is the calmest compared to all other nights. So that is the superlative degree. Okay guys, so let's forming comparatives and superlatives. Comparatives often add er or use more or less. For the example, clear become clearer. Peaceful become more peaceful. That is comparatives. And the next is superlatives. Superlatives add est is or the most or the least. Clear become clearest. Peaceful become the most peaceful. But some adjectives are irregular. So for the example, like good become better, better become best. So that's how you forming comparatives and superlatives. So why does poet use comparison? So comparison can help the poet to bring image to life, emphasizing differences and of course conveying symbolic meaning in poetry.
Okay everyone, let's practice together, shall we? Okay, so can you tell me which degree each sentences shows the degrees? Okay, so number one, the river is dark than the sky. Okay, number two, the night is quiet. Number three, this is the quietest night of the week. Good. Did you found every answer on the sentences? Okay, good job. Now, what are the answers for the sentences. Okay, so for number 1, it uses comparative degree. For number 2, it uses positive degree. And for the last one, for number 3, it uses superlative degree. Okay, now everyone, so I would like everyone to write your own sentences using comparative, or you can use superlative degree. You may describe it with using nature or using schools. You might be using your own surroundings. Okay, I will make the example first. So this classroom is brighter than the hallway. Got it? Okay, I will come check it later. Okay, would anyone like to share their sentences? Okay, so do you guys notice how the adjectives helps create a clear image, right? Okay, so keep the sentence structure correct and descriptive. Okay, everyone, let's review what we have learned for today. So we know that positive degree shows a basic quality of a sentence, right? So for the second one is comparative degree. It shows to compare two things in a sentence. And for the last one, superlative degree, it shows the most or least among 3 or more sentences or a stanza in a poem. So poets use these forms to create emotion and vivid images. Thank you everyone for the participation, and keep observing how poets use comparison. See you next lesson. Bye bye.